How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to number 2 of 3 year-end videos for 2019. And today I'm going to be talking about my 10 favorite albums of the year. Now 2019 has been an amazing year for music. I've been taken back and surprised so many times by so many different albums and even songs. So I'm very excited to talk about my list today, but please also keep in mind this is just my personal list based on my music taste. Obviously it's my list, not yours, and I'm only talking about 10 here today, and because this year was so amazing, there are way more albums out there that I also really enjoyed that I didn't get a chance to add to this list. It's kind of my own little tradition to do just a top 10 every year, so I didn't want to change that up. I like to keep it concise at just a solid 10, but again, I don't want you guys to think that these are the only albums I listened to or enjoyed this year, because again, there's a lot out there that was really amazing and impressive this year, but I wanted to keep it to 10, so these are my top 10 favorites. And of course, there will be a few honorable mentions, which I will roll right after this, but first, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to my channel, and let me know down in the comment section what your top 10 favorite albums were from 2019. And without further ado, let's get into this. Gotta give it up for the honorable mentions. And now, let's get into my number 10 pick. To begin my list at number 10, we have Berkeley's On Fire by SWMRS. And after loving Drive North so much, I was a little hesitant on this one, especially after hearing the title track, which I'm still not too fond of, but the rest of this record was solid as hell. Straying away from their surf punk roots, they take things in a more plain rock direction, and it worked in their favor. Highlights include the irresistible Max-led Too Much Coffee that always gets stuck in my head, Trash Bag Baby with that iconic riff that repeats throughout, April in Houston that explores being down and watching your friends disappear, and the antisocial anthem that is Lonely Ghosts. Overall, this is just a really fun, easy listen, and I'm really glad that SWMRS didn't disappoint here after all. I don't know how they do it. I really don't understand how the Maine have delivered yet another incredible record. This is 3 in a row for me personally that I wholeheartedly love. 2015 was American Candy, 2017 was Love a Little Lonely, and now in 2019 we were given You Are Okay. I'm seriously so proud of them because they've truly found their own signature rock sound, and they've been so damn consistent for years now. Their newest effort is comforting, hopeful, and uplifting even during the most heartbreaking moments. They also managed to write another album full of infectious hooks. That's one thing that the Maine are incredibly good at. I mean, Slip the Noose, My Best Habit, Tears Won't Cry, and One Sunset being some of the best examples of that. This is just an emotional ride that indeed reminds you you are okay. You don't want me the same. It's such a fucking shame. I don't deserve as much as all your FANDOM by WATERPARKS. Guys, I can't even begin to tell you how torn I've been on this record, and here's the thing. I loved almost every single song upon first listen, but there were just a few tiny little nitpicks I had with some parts of the album, so I kept going back and forth on this. But this, my friends, this is why you listen to an album more than once or twice before giving an opinion, because fuck did FANDOM grow on me. I honestly did not think I'd be down with this. I mean, look at the album title. I mean, just that alone turned me off, and some of the single choices even just had me a little hesitant there. But like I said, this shit actually sticks with you. It's an animated, bold, and bitter breakup album with some commentary on fandom culture and the music community as well. And with more listens, you're gonna realize that there's so many moving parts to these songs. I've always liked that about WATERPARKS. They don't just make like generic, predictable songs with the same formula. These all kind of have a different vibe to them, but somehow they really fit well together. There's anger and Watch What Happens Next, sadness and Never Bloom Again, infatuation and telephone, heartbreak and high definition, frustration and war crimes, just so many emotions, and you feel each and every one thanks to Austin's delivery and just the execution of these songs in general. And even though I still think there's a few things that could have been polished up and finished a little bit better, and I also wish there was a little bit more commentary on actual fandom culture that's in there in hints, but you know, for it being the title of the album, I feel like they could have really said a lot more about that. Despite it all, I'm still very happy with this album, and I think it beats Entertainment by far. I mean, there's so much more going on, it just feels a lot more interesting, and I don't know, I really dig the vibe of it. I know a lot of people give Waterparks a hard time, and I understand that if you don't like their sound, but I don't know, I find them so unique and creative, and I have to respect that.
I have become so cold, so numb, load up my gun, I'm out for blood.
Now this is a cohesive album, my friends. Fake Blood by Heart Attack Man, which I've talked about several times on my channel already this year. This is an aggressive, punky, angry, honest, and hilariously sarcastic piece of work that really gives me hope for the future of the pop punk and emo scene. It's such a quick but hard-hitting listen, and it really leaves you eager to revisit it because there's just so many strong songs here. I mean, the title track alone should be enough to sell you on Heart Attack Man. I love that they aren't afraid to make some of these really bold, sometimes violent statements in their music. They're real as hell and don't give a fuck about what anyone thinks. This album is full of dark themes like suicide, murder, threats, but also fake people, personal growth, and severing ties with old relationships. You just have to hear this one for yourselves. The lyrics can be pretty intense and messed up, but it's delivered musically in such a heavy, angry, and almost funny way that you can't help but love it. Next we have the intense and brilliant fourth studio album, Panorama, from the post-hardcore band La Dispute. I was absolutely floored by some of these tracks like Anxiety, Panorama, A View from Our Bedroom Window, You Ascendant, but primarily Fulton Street 1, which was the first song I actually checked out, and I listened to it alongside with that chillingly powerful animated music video that just made the song hit even harder. This album was actually inspired by just driving on the highway, and it's an absolute must, you guys, to hear it in that context. They explore themes of death, afterlife, grief, anxiety, isolation, and so much more. And I really love the ties to different crystals and healing stones like rose quartz and rhodonite that some people actually use to kind of keep them safe. I was just really impressed with Panorama, and if you liked Rooms of the House and Wildlife, this is a great fusion of both of those sounds. They do get heavy and loud with the yelling vocals and hard-hitting guitars, but there's also a lot of softer elements as well. It's intricate, smart, and really strikes a chord.
Sorry for leaving. Sorry, one foot out the door. Unapologetically sorry for everything.
At number 5, we have the third self-titled record from American football, the fathers of emo, if you will. This is one that my words just really can't do justice. You just kind of have to take this one in for yourself. It's an incredibly personal 8-track album full of melancholy and guilt alongside beautiful shimmering instrumentals that create a calm atmosphere so you can really pay attention to the words that are being said. The music alone, however, is just pure bliss, and while you may need to be in the right mood or mindset to hear this album, it's still moving, emotional, and you feel that deep in your soul. I'm so happy that I actually gave this album a chance, and if you haven't yet, at least try out songs like Silhouettes, Doom in Full Bloom, and Uncomfortably Numb featuring Hayley Williams. This is a brilliant, beautiful listen, and I can't give it more praise.
It's not a crime if you take what's given. It's just a crime if you're paying for it.
I've always been a sucker for albums with seamless transitions, and Wallows did just that on their indie pop rock debut, Nothing Happens, where actually a lot happens. Seriously guys, this album surprised me, and I was actually let down by their last release, their spring EP that came out right before this. But thankfully their full length turned out to be fantastic, and I love the way that Wallows write both music and lyrics. They managed to make each song feel bright and full of life, even in the more more serious moments. Dylan and Brayden trade off on vocals and their voices complement each other so perfectly. And I also have to applaud the guitars here that completely carry this album, making it even more memorable. I adore almost all of these songs, primarily Only Friend, Are You Bored Yet, Remember When, and Do Not Wait. Wallows are clearly one of the most promising young bands out there right now, so please guys, do not sleep on this one. It's such a delight. Okay, what the actual fuck? Who saw this one coming? I don't think anyone did, to be honest. Guys, you even know that I am not a big Blink fan, but this record somehow changed that for me. Everything leading up to Blink-182's new album 9 seemed like a red flag, but holy shit did this deliver. This is the kind of material from Blink that I like to see. Nearly every track on this record is worth coming back to, with standouts being Dark Side, Heaven, Pin the Grenade, and No Heart to Speak Of, but like I said, pretty much everything here is great, with Blame It On My Youth being the only skippable song in my opinion. I'm honestly just so relieved that they kind of ditched the fake happy, sunny California themes for a more darker, honest, and emotional effort. This feels much more real and relatable while remaining insanely catchy and fun. It doesn't get boring, it doesn't get annoying, there aren't too many na-na-nas or whoa-oh-ohs that they've done in the past. They found that perfect balance, and I couldn't be more happy with this. Job well done, Blink. As we inch closer and closer at the number 2 spot, we have none other than NELLA VITA by GRAYSCALE, and I have to say, while I was worried about their poppy experimentation, I was proven wrong quickly because this record is a major delight. And it is so goddamn refreshing to see a pop punk band stray away from the genre stereotypes. This is basically a pop rock album with happy, upbeat music accompanied by serious and at times really sad lyrical themes. And I really love how every song sounds a little bit different, some being more familiar to their older material like Twilight and Violet and Painkiller Weather, while songs like Baby Blue, Young, and In My Arms bring a more electric, danceable vibe. Of course, they also had to sprinkle in some tearjerkers there, like the beautiful Asbury, as well as Tommy's song, which acts as a gorgeous closing tribute to a young family member that was lost to suicide. NELLA VITA has it all, and GRAYSCALE, I applaud you for experimenting and creating a really cool sound that feels so fresh. NELLA VITA means in life, and it brings you all the feelings and emotions that you do go through in life, of course. This album will make you cry and then want to get up and dance at the same time. If you check this one out and just weren't feeling it, please give it a few more tries and it might actually start to grow on you. It definitely did for me, and here we are at the end of the year and it's my second favorite album. I'm just so proud of them, and while I don't think this quite tops Adornment, which was actually my favorite album of 2017, I still think this is really refreshing and just a lot of fun to listen to. It's a very unique sound and I can't really think of anything that sounds just like it. Your favorite album always seems to find you, and damn, this was kind of unexpected, but in the absolute best way. Breathe by Tiny Moving Parts shocked the hell out of me. I couldn't believe my ears upon first listen, and I was so taken back by the lyrical content. This album came at the perfect time in my life, a time where I really needed this. 2019 has been really rough to say the least, and this record wrapped its arms around me like a blanket and reminded me that I'm not alone in what I'm going through. Tiny Moving Parts shine like they never have before, roaring, impactful, and emotional vocals from Dylan and instrumentation that hits harder than ever. Breathe explores themes of loss, sickness, and just the everyday bullshit that life throws at you and how you somehow manage to cope and get through it all. My favorite tracks include Midwest Sky with some of the most powerful vocals on the record, Medicine, a relatable cut about everything falling apart, Polar Bear, the hopelessly hopeful fight song, and of course, Bloody Nose, an undeniable banger, and one of the best songs of their career. Man, I could just go on and on and on, but guys, you just have to listen to it for yourself. It's so strong in every single way, and over time, I'm finding myself relating more and more. And I think I was even further sold on this album after seeing Tiny Moving Parts live a couple weeks ago, literally a couple weeks right before I'm filming this video. I saw them play some of these tracks live, and it was just even more emotional and exciting, and just the energy that they have. I don't know, I was sitting there listening to them play Medicine, and it had been such a rough month, a rough week. We were just going through a lot personally, and hearing Medicine played live right in front of me, it just kind of flipped a switch in my mind. I was like, this has to be my album of the year. One of the standout lyrics that connected with me from Medicine is actually, "I'll try again," and I heard that in the live setting, and I was like, yeah, I need to keep going. Like, the world isn't ending, you know, we're gonna get through this. And I just really needed that in 2019. And I honestly feel like that lyric really perfectly describes the feeling of this whole album. Feeling like you want to give up, like literally laying dead on the floor, but still continuing to persevere and get through it. Breathe is without a doubt my album of the year, and I highly encourage you guys to give this one a chance. It will remind you to sit down and just kind of breathe. Well, there you guys have it. Those were my top 10 favorite albums of 2019. I would love to know your top 10 down in the comment section below, but also let me know what you thought of my picks. Obviously, we're not going to all agree here, and that's kind of the beauty of being a music fan. Everybody hears things differently, and I would love to know what spoke to you this year. Thank you so much to anybody that actually checked out this video, even if you were just skipping through. I really do appreciate it, and while you're here, it would mean a lot if you could leave a like on this video, and if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I have one more year-end list coming next week, which will be my top 15 songs of 2019, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys then.